Welcome to the 7th lecture on reciprocating air compressors. In this session, we will talk about multi-stage air compressors and two-stage air compression in detail. In multi-stage air compressors, the required final pressure of air is achieved by compressing air in more than one stage, that is, utilizing more than one cylinder. With multi-stage compression, the air can be cooled as it is being transferred from one cylinder to the next by passing it through an intercooler. Intercooler is basically a heat exchanger. And what is the purpose of cooling the air coming out of each cylinder, that we will discuss in detail. The advantages of multi-stage air compression. Each cylinder works with lower pressure ratio. So let me explain this with an example. Suppose if you want to achieve the pressure ratio of 25, so that means the initial pressure is, let us say, 1 bar and the final required pressure is 25 bar. And if you want to achieve this target in one cylinder, the pressurization in one cylinder, this is really, that will make the cylinder construction really complex, and the operational safety we cannot ensure, so for handling such a big pressure ratio. So what you can do is, you can do the pressurization in stages to achieve that 25 bar final desired pressure. Let us say we can use two stages. So the first cylinder, as you can see in this diagram, this is for a two-stage compression with intercooling. So you have the first cylinder where the pressure increases from P1 to, let us say, P2. And this, let us say, we can assume that air intake pressure is 1 bar. So the first cylinder raises the pressure from 1 bar to, say, 5 bar. And the second cylinder then pressurizes from P2 to P3, that is from 5 bar to, let us say, 25 bar. So that's how it is achieved. The final required pressure is achieved in stages. But in between the two cylinders, air from one cylinder, before passing on to the next cylinder, we use a heat exchanger. So what is the purpose of heat exchanger? The heat exchanger cools the air. So it does not reduce the pressure, but it reduces the temperature of air coming out of the cylinder and then passed on to the next. So if it is a three-stage compression, then you have one more intercooler and then passed on to the third cylinder. So three cylinders, and in between you have intercoolers. So the advantages of multi-stage air compressors is that each cylinder works with lower pressure ratio. So if you want to achieve 25 bar, then you need not do it in a single stage. You are using, say, two stages. So that means the pressure ratio of each stage can be lowered. So this will really ensure operational safety of the compressor and the complexity of construction. The next advantage is that the overall volumetric efficiency increases. Remember, overall volumetric efficiency. The mass flow rate of air is increased as the clearance air expansion is reduced. The clearance air expansion is reduced, therefore the mass flow rate is increased. And ultimately, the effective swept volume is increased. In the earlier lectures, we were talking about effective swept volume divided by available swept volume, that represents volumetric efficiency. So effective swept volume is increased by using multi-stage compression. Obviously the overall volumetric efficiency will increase. Then a very important point is, the work input requirement can be reduced if multi-staging is done with adequate intercooling. So in fact, when you use intercooling, you can save a lot of work input. So how it can be accomplished, we will explain with the help of a sketch. See, the question is, how is the work input requirement reduced by multi-stage compression? See, consider this PV diagram now. PV diagram. See, you have three pressure levels. The intake pressure level P1 and the intermediate pressure level P2 and the final required pressure level P3. So, the first stage compression, so the volume of air taken in, let us say V1, see for time being we neglect the clearance volume effect. So, therefore, the volume taken in the first cylinder is V1 and it is compressed polytropically to the point say 2 dash, to the state 2 dash, that is to the pressure P2. So, polytropically. So, the compression, first stage compression follows polytropic law of polytropic process, PV raised to n is equal to constant and 1 to 2 dash is that process. Then the air coming out of the first cylinder, that is at state 2 dash, is at pressure P2 dash and temperature T2 dash, and that is passed on to the intercooler. See the process 2 dash 2, this horizontal part, see this represents the intercooling. So, intercooling process. So, where that is a constant pressure cooling process, where the pressure is not lowered, but the temperature is reduced, the internal energy of air is reduced. So, by using a cooling fluid, so we will cool the pressurized air coming out of the first cylinder. So, you can see that the pressure P2 dash is same as P2 and then it is passed on to the second cylinder. So, that's where in the second cylinder the air is again pressurized to the required final pressure level, what is that, P3, and again let the process be polytropic. So, 2 to 3 is polytropic process. So, what is this dotted line representing? Please consider this dotted line. See this dotted curve, that that represents PV is equal to constant line, that means an isothermal line. So, if you want to ensure that the temperature of air coming out of the the intercooling process, that is at T2, 2 dash to 2 is the intercooling. So, the temperature of air coming out of the intercooler is T2. If the T2 is same as T1, what is T1? T1 is the intake pressure. So, the air entering the first cylinder. So, now the temperature after intercooling, not after compression in the first cylinder, obviously after compression in the first cylinder, the temperature of air will increase. So, that is the temperature T2 dash, and then now the T2 dash is reduced to T2 in the intercooler. If that T2, the temperature of air coming out of the intercooler, happens to be equal to the air entering the first cylinder, that is the same intake pressure, then we say that that is perfect intercooling. So, that means this 2 and 1 are on the isothermal line, which follows PV is equal to constant and temperature is constant. So, T2 is equal to T1 if the perfect intercooling is achieved. So, this is what is called perfect intercooling, and again it is compressed and the process deviates from isothermal, that is why it is shown like this. So, this is polytropic. So, 1 to 2 dash is polytropic compression in the first cylinder, then 2 to 3 is polytropic compression in the second cylinder. What is 2 dash to 2? That is intercooling, and in fact in this case if the point 2 happens to be on the isothermal line passing through the point 1, then we can say that it is perfect intercooling. What does it mean? I repeat, the temperature of air coming out of the intercooler is same as that of the intake air temperature. And now we will consider this, how come this work input is requirement is reduced or work is saved when you use multi-stage compression with adequate intercooling. See, if you do not use multi-staging and if you want to achieve the final pressure, then what will be the polytropic compression line? See, it is 1, 2 dash and this 3 dash. So, it will continue from 2 dash. If there is no intercooling, if you have one cylinder and you are compressing air from 1 to 3 dash directly, say it will follow this path, polytropic, if it is polytropic. Now, what is the path? So, 1 to 2 dash and then 2 dash to 2 and then 2 to 3. So, what will happen now? The area enclosed by the compression curve with the pressure axis. So, that represents what? The area enclosed by the compression process with the pressure axis in the PV diagram, that is indicator diagram, represents what? Work done over the cycle. So therefore 1 to 3 dash directly means direct compression in one cylinder. So that means the area, you can see that the total area 1, 3 dash and this point and up to P1. See this point, state point, they are not numbered, but you can understand from the earlier concepts. Okay, and now that is the area. But now what area is saved? That is area is indicated. That area is indicated here. This shaded area. That shaded area. What is that? 2 dash, 3 dash, 3, 2. That shaded area. That shaded area represents the work saved or the reduction in work input requirement for achieving what? This task. The pressure from P1 is raised to P3 by two-stage compression, then the work saved is represented by this two-stage compression. Then thermodynamically, how do you explain this? That we will explain now. With multi-stage compression, the air can be cooled as it is being transferred from one cylinder to the next by passing it through an intercooler. We explained already. The process of cooling the air is called intercooling process. Then with the intercooling process, the temperature is reduced, but not the pressure. Therefore, the internal energy of delivered air is reduced. See, internal energy, basically for a perfect gas, you say mCV delta T. As temperature is reduced, internal energy of delivered air is reduced. Actually, this internal energy is given from the work input to the machine. So therefore, since the internal energy of air is reduced, for further compression, obviously the energy input requirement will be reduced. That is the essence of this story. Since energy must have come from the input energy required to drive the compressor, this results in the decrease in input work requirement for a given mass of delivered air. Remember, for a given mass of delivered air, if you reduce the temperature, then definitely the energy input requirement also will be less to compress it. Thus, the power supplied to the compressor can be reduced. So, the thermodynamically you explain like this, but in a PV diagram you can explain this saving in work in a proper way by showing this shaded area that is now deleted from the area of the indicator diagram. So, that this area is the representing the work saved in two-stage compression. And now we will pass on to the next important point. We will concentrate on two-stage air compression, neglecting clearance volume. For the sake of simplicity, it is better to assume that there is no clearance volume. See, the same process which I explained earlier has been mentioned over here. 1 to 2 dash is polytropic compression in the first stage, 2 dash to 2 is the constant pressure intercooling in the intercooler, then 2 to 3 is the polytropic compression in the second cylinder. Normally we say that low pressure cylinder, where first stage compression takes place, and a high pressure cylinder where the second stage compression takes place, and so on. So the first cylinder, so you can see that suction to the first is represented by this line where the pressure is P1 and the discharge is this one, 2 dash. Discharge from the first cylinder is here, that and suction. The suction to the second stage cylinder, that is also indicated in the same, and we assume that there is no pressure reduction in the intercooling process, and in that case the discharge from the first cylinder and the suction to the second cylinder, the second stage, that will happen at the same pressure level. So there is no pressure drop. P2 dash is same as P2, and then the final pressure level is P3. So now you please consider this polytropic process, 1 to 2 dash and 2 dash to 2 constant pressure cooling process in intercooler, then 2 to 3 is the polytropic compression process in the second cylinder. And remember this, in the case of perfect intercooling, the temperature after the intercooling, the cooling process, the temperature of air coming out of the intercooler, that will be same as the intake temperature T1 before the first stage compression. So T2 is same as T1, and Please understand T2 dash is not equal to T1 because T2 dash is the temperature after the polytropic compression in the first stage. Obviously it will be high, and that temperature is now reduced back to T2, and that T2 is same as T1 in the case of perfect intercooling. Practically that may not be achieved, but here we assume that if perfect intercooling is achieved, then we aim at this, and if that is achieved, then 2 and 1 state will be on the same isothermal line. 1 and 2, that is on the dotted line. This dotted line represents isothermal compression line. So P1 V1 will be equal to what? P2 V2. Then now we consider the stage 1. What is the work done in stage 1? Stage 1, and we have the equation without clearance volume effect. If you take the work done per cycle in stage 1, first cylinder, then n by n minus 1 P1 V1, I need not explain this, into what is the pressure ratio achieved? P2 dash by P1. But incidentally P2 dash is equal to P2. So therefore P2 dash by P1 is same as P2 by P1, but not the temperature. And then second stage is what? 2 to 3. 2 to 3. What is the initial pressure and volume? P2 and V2. So what is the work done per stage? Work done in the second stage per cycle, n by n minus 1 P2 V2 into the pressure ratio. What is that? P3 by P2 raised to n minus 1 by n minus 1. So you have these equations, you know these equations very well. So without considering clearance volume, this is the expression for the work done in first stage, work done in second stage per cycle. And then please consider the first stage pressure ratio P2 dash by P1, that is same as what? P2 by P1. And second stage pressure ratio is what? P3 by P2. And we know that in the case of perfect intercooling, T2 is equal to T1. T2 is equal to T1. And then P1 V1 will be equal to P2 V2. P1 V1 will be equal to P2 V2 in the case of perfect intercooling. Then what is the total work done? Total work done in this two-stage compression process per cycle, W stage 1 plus W stage 2. So we will add the 2. See, along with adding the two terms, see, I have changed this first stage pressure ratio P2 dash by P1 as P2 by P1 because P2 dash is same as P2. So P2 by P1 is the first stage ratio. Now second stage ratio is P3 by P2, and then one more change. The second stage work done, there P1, P2, V2 was involved, but here I replaced that by P1, V1 because you know in the case of perfect intercooling, P1, V1 is equal to P2, V2, that is T1 is equal to T2. Temperature of air after intercooling is same as the initial intake temperature of air. Then W total now, so the common factors are many now, n by n minus 1 P1, V1. So n by n minus 1 and P1, V1 you take out common. And then what is left in the bracket? The left in the bracket, this one, what is that? P2 by P1 raised to n minus 1 by n plus P3 by P2 raised to n minus 1 by n, then minus 1 plus minus 1, that will become minus 2. So please do remember this expression for solving numericals in the case of two-stage air compression without intercooling. Sorry, two-stage air compression. Two-stage air compression with perfect intercooling, you can use this expression with, of course, with intercooling. That's why we have replaced P2 V2 as P1 V1. So in the case of in the other cases, if there is perfect intercooling is not achieved, then you cannot substitute this one. You have to consider the work done per cycle for both the stages separately. So you cannot take P1 V1, you cannot take P1 V1 common. So as we have done in this case, this is the expression for the total work done per cycle for two-stage air compression with perfect intercooling. And then if what is the condition for minimizing this work? Is there any provision to do that? See, in the previous slide you can consider P1 is the intake pressure and P3 is the final required pressure. As I told you earlier example, let us say 1 bar, air at 1 bar is taken in and the required final pressure is 25 bar. But what should be the intermediate pressure? So that is of course can be taken as a prime variable, and that variable that really can be optimized in order to get minimum work done or maximum saving in work. So what do we do? For perfect intercooling and condition for minimum work done saving in maximum work input, then what we should do is we will take this P2 as the leading variable, and we will differentiate this expression for work done total with respect to P2 and equate it to 0. So this condition for optimizing what? Work done, minimum work done for the case with two-stage compression with perfect intercooling. So what do? So we take the derivative of this expression as represented by equation 1 with respect to P2 and equate it to 0. Even if it's a lengthier expression, but taking the derivative with respect to P2 is easier, because the rest of the terms P2, P1, P3 and this P1, V1, n by n minus 1 all are constants, can be taken out of the derivative. So d by dP2 of this expression is equated to 0. So therefore what you can take out? N by n minus 1 P1, V1, they are constants. So it can be taken, those two terms n by n minus 1 and P1, V1, that group can be taken out of the derivative, then into d by dP2 of what is the content inside the bracket P2 by P1 raised to what is that, n minus 1 by n, then please plus P3 by P2 raised to n minus 1 by n minus 2. See, n minus 1 by n, see, let us substitute by a letter A. So n minus 1 in order to simplify the task. So you don't have to write this index group everywhere. N minus 1 by n, you represent it as A. So P2 by P1 raised to A plus P3 by P2 raised to A minus 2, that has to be differentiated with respect to what? P2. And the outside term n by n minus 1 P1 V1 is not equal to 0. So therefore this derivative part must be equated to 0. So now we will take the derivative of this part and equate it to 0. What is the variable? P2. And P1 and P3 are constants. So now you take, see, I just distributed that P2 by P1 raised to A, P2 raised to A by P1 raised to A plus P3 raised to A by P2 raised to A minus 2, take the derivative with respect to P2 and equate it to 0. So just I split it, take the derivative of the first term, take the derivative of the second term, take the derivative of third term and equate it to 0. So what is it? D by dP2 of P2 raised to A by P1 raised to A plus d by dP2 of P3 raised to A, and this P2 raised to A is brought to the numerator. What is that? P2 raised to minus A. Then minus d by dP2 of this constant 2, obviously that is 0. And the total 3 terms is equal to 0. So therefore the first term, so you have the expression for the derivative of x raised to n with respect to x. What is that? N x raised to n minus 1. So use that result and you get what is the derivative of d by dP2 of P2 raised to A. Remember, P2 is the variable, and P1 raised to A, P3 raised to A, and these are constants. So therefore P1 by P1 raised to A you can take out, and P2 raised to A alone has to be differentiated. So that is A into P2 raised to A minus 1 plus P3 raised to A from the second term. P3 raised to A is constant, it is taken out, and the derivative of P2 raised to minus A with respect to P2. So that is minus A into P2 raised to minus A minus 1. Then the third term, of course, as I said, minus 0, that is equal to 0. So therefore we got this one. It's algebraic manipulation. I mean, just to simplify that, you will get the answer. The condition for minimum work to be done in the case of condition for minimum work done in the case of perfect intercooling in two-stage compression process. So what do you get ultimately? You simplify this, take the second term to the right hand side, so you will get A by P2, and then you are clubbing what P2 raised to A divided by P1 raised to A. So P2 by P1 raised to A it will be, that is equal to, on the right hand side, this P2 raised to minus A minus 1. So what you can do, you take out P2, you take P2 raised to minus A minus 1 to the denominator. What will happen? P2 raised to A plus 1. So that will be P2 raised to A into P2 raised to 1. P2 raised to A into taking this term to the denominator, that's all. And then simplify this, and now this term as second term has been taken to the right hand side. So you will get very simple, you can understand, self-explanatory. So A by P2 is there on both sides, can be cancelled, and what you get, P2 by P1 raised to A, P3 by P2 raised to A. So here it is written P2 by P1 raised to A is equal to P3 by P2 raised to A, and you take eighth root of on both sides, you will get P2 by P1 is equal to P3 by P2. So what does it mean? What is P2 by P1? That is the pressure ratio in the first stage compression. First stage compression pressure ratio is P2 dash by P1, but P2 dash is equal to P2, as you know. Therefore, P2 by P1 is the first stage compression ratio. And what is the second stage compression ratio? This is P3 by P2. That is the pressure ratio in the second stage. So the pressure ratios in the pressure ratio in the two stages are going to be the same if you want minimum work to be done in the case of perfect intercooling in two-stage compression. So P2 by P1 is same as P3 by P2, and if you cross multiply, you will get P2 square. P2 square is equal to P1 P3. P2 square is equal to P3 P1, and P2 is equal to square root of P3 P1. And what is P1? That is intake pressure, initial pressure, intake pressure. P3 is the final required pressure, and the product is P3 P1. And take the square root, you will get the intermediate pressure. Mathematically, we say that the intermediate pressure should be equal to the geometric mean of the initial intake pressure and the final desired pressure. So if you take P2, if you want to take P2, an optimum value for P2 for minimizing the work done in the case of two-stage air compression with perfect intercooling, what you should do is you should take the geometric mean of the initial and final pressure. See, in our example case, what is that? You're taking 1 bar is the initial pressure. Let us say 1 bar is the initial intake pressure, and the final pressure required is 25 bar. Then 25 into 1, that is 25. Square root of that is 5. So therefore P2 will be, the intermediate pressure should be 5 bar if you want to raise the pressure of air from 1 bar to 25 bar in two-stage compression process, that too with perfect intercooling. Then intermediate pressure should be equal to 5 bar. So that is the example. So this is the condition. This is the condition for the minimum work done in the case of two-stage air compression with perfect intercooling, where initial intake pressure is P1, final desired pressure is P3, and the intermediate pressure required is P2. Okay, with this we wind up this session, but please do remember this condition and substitute this in this work done total in order to get minimum work done. So minimum work done, if you want to find out, so you substitute P2 by P1 is same as P3 by P2. So in that case, you can simplify this for this relation further, and that part you see, I leave it for you to complete. So please do that. So just simplify this task for perfect intercooling case, and W minimum you please find out. Thank you very much.